everybody, and welcome to our new 2020 Chat Show, a show for small business owners and creative entrepreneurs to help you build your brand, boost your business, and grow your audience. I'm Olivia, and today joining me on the show is a fascinating woman who's built 3 businesses, successful businesses. She is an editor-in-chief, a mindset guru, and a master business coach. Please welcome on the show Laura Payne-Stanley from Elevate Labs. And we're going to be talking all about membership programs and membership website. Hi, Laura. Welcome.
Hi, wow. What a welcome. What a welcome. Yeah, I'm loving that. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today because I think it's something that people don't often talk about.
Yes.
I'm really interested to dive deep and give loads and loads of value here for everyone to take. Guys, stay with us because even if you listen to this, you can go away and implement straight away.
Yeah, that's great. But before we talk about this, let's get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
And let's kind of rewind a few years. So you graduated from university, you went in and worked into corporate, you worked in advertising and in marketing, but then you decided to stop all that to create your own little business, and which is the French Wedding Style blog, which is a blog for, I think it was for British brides who were planning their wedding in France at the time.
Yeah.
But where I'm curious is from, you started from probably writing that first little wedding blog to then growing into an international award-winning wedding blog that has over 48,000 visitors each month. That's quite an achievement for a first business. So I'm curious, at what point did you realize that this business had real potential growth? And what sets you apart from other wedding blogs who were on the market at the time?
Okay, so actually, I've always had businesses. And when I was working this out, and I think I've had businesses since I was like 20 years, which I'm like, how can I have done anything for 20 years? But even when I was at university, I already had little businesses. I've always kind of had that kind of mindset, seeing gaps in market and what could happen. Now, rewinding it right back to why French Wedding Style even exists. So my husband lived in France for a year, speaks French. I always shocked. I don't speak French very well. And that always people, what? How can you do what you do when you don't speak French very well? But at the time, winding the clock back 9 years ago, a friend of ours was getting married in France. They were searching in English for supplies in France. Yeah. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because actually you had to translate. You had to make sure the translation was correct. And you had to make sure for SEO to work that the translation in French matched up with someone's website. Did not happen.
Okay.
So many best ideas, over a bottle of red wine. She was like, can you help us? This is ridiculous. We just can't find a photographer. They could not find someone if they were searching. Okay. So then my husband is a geek. So between the two of us, we're kind of like strategists and the geek. And he was like, we should build this. And this is one thing I want to say to anybody who's considering launching. French Wedding Style wasn't even called French Wedding Style when it first launched. For the first month, we changed it. I can't even remember what it was now. I think it was Wedding Book France or something.
Okay.
So quite quickly went, no, don't like that. Changed it.
Not as sexy.
Yeah, didn't like it enough. Let's change the whole thing. But what you learn by doing, that's one of the things I will always say to people when you're doing something, get into beta, launch, because we can have the best laid plans sometimes, and then you launch and you go, oh, this is completely different than I imagined.
Yeah.
So what we did to actually grow it very, very quickly is we modeled other blogs. We were looking at what other people were doing. Now, I will say you have to decide if you're having a passion project, you're having a hobby business, or you're running it as a commercial entity.
Sure.
You've got to make that decision, especially with blogging, because blogging takes a huge amount of time, way more than anyone ever realizes.
No.
So we decided it was going to be a monetized blog quite early on. So you have to look at the revenue streams associated with that to allow you to have the resources to grow it. So one of the things you mentioned is about our visitors, but actually one of our biggest achievements is we have over 275,000 followers on Pinterest.
Right.
We have over 250,000 followers on Pinterest. That doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen overnight, but you have to have a strategy. Yeah. So coming back to your question is, when did we know? Is when we actually started taking it seriously as a business, when we started to strategize all the different elements. And, winding back 9 years was great. There was Twitter. I feel like I'm going back to the dark ages of digital sometimes. There was Twitter, there was Facebook, and that was it. Yeah. We didn't have anything else. So you press publish, and to be fair, that was pretty much it, and you posted it to one platform. Now, obviously, it's very, very heavily in depth, tagging on Instagram, Pinterest strategy, Facebook strategies. If you're going to put anything, throw anything else into the mix, YouTube, TikTok, there's a huge variety out there. Yeah. But for us, it was about being consistent in 9 years.
Yeah.
So you've got to know your aims as a business. Now, even now, I will say you cannot search for a wedding in France or French wedding and we come up.
Yes.
You can't get rid of us. We've published over 900 real weddings.
Yeah.
And
good quality weddings. Yeah.
So what were you saying?
And good quality. Another important thing about your blog is the quality of your of the blogs that you put in and the weddings that you showcase, and that really made you stand out. And
again, that's another part that I will say to somebody is you've got to know who your audience is and why you're doing something. So yes, when you submit to us, we do not take every submission that comes in, and we give feedback. If it's not accepted, we give feedback where we can as to why and how to improve.
Yeah.
So it's about knowing why you're in business. Are you in for a long term? Is it a hobby? Nothing wrong with running a hobby business, but you've got to know that's why you're running it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty expensive to run a blog as well when you're taking the time considerations to do it.
Yeah.
So again, it's about doing as much learning as you can, but also standing out.
Mm.
You know, we were the only, for years, blog that targeted English speakers getting married in France.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I know your blog very well, but I think today we're going to try and bring the focus. I mean, that's a fantastic story, really inspiring story. And I think we could talk a lot longer about it. But today we're going to bring the focus on another side of your business, which is Elevate Labs.
Yes.
Elevate Labs, you run this business with your husband here in the UK.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the kind of services that you guys provide for your customers?
Absolutely. So again, it almost happened as an extension for Frederick's Wedding Style. So as you said, I was a full marketeer by trade. That's what I was, and I retrained as a coach. So many times I started working, then it grew quite quickly to working with wedding suppliers and vendors who were struggling in certain marketing aspects.
Yeah.
So it really grew very organically, like many of our businesses, and then we kind of structure it and move it forward. So today, Elevate Labs really helps people, I would say, in the kind of expert space. So that's whether it's coaches, mentors, consultants, brand strategists, designers, wedding professionals who are looking to add another revenue stream to their business.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we will always say is you focus on your zone of genius, and often that isn't the tech.
Yeah.
That is not I want to do this part, but I don't know what I don't know. So I do not know how to launch a course, launch a membership. I don't even know what question to ask. So people get stuck, and that's where Elevate Labs comes in. Basically, we can do a done for you service. You write the course and it imagines and comes into reality, or we can guide you through the process yourself.
Fantastic. I mean, we're seeing it more and more now than ever. Loads of businesses are pivoting online. They're creating online courses. They're creating membership programs. I mean, loyalty programs have been going for a while. I mean, I think we've all got a loyalty card in our wallet. And I think I heard somewhere, or I read somewhere, that the average household has about 30 loyalty cards in their wallet. So it's a system that clearly works. But what is the difference really between a customer loyalty program and a membership program? Can you explain the difference to us?
What I would go back to is root cause of why you're doing them. So by nature, with some loyalty programs, they actually come in once you're already a customer. So the benefit of a loyalty program to a business can be because they're trying to increase the customer value. So actually what that means is they're trying to increase your spend per month. So actually, if you spend more, then you get more rewards. So they're actually trying to increase your spend. They can also be increasing your lifetime value of a customer. So say that customer might stay with them for a year, they're trying to increase to even 18 months or 2 years. A membership program as such is just a methodology of learning, of consuming. It can start right at the beginning. So the gym membership is the one people know all the time, because many gyms, you have to have a membership. There's no other way of becoming a member of the gym. Yeah. You can't pay them for 1 year up front. You can't do anything else. You have to pay monthly. So membership really just means belonging to a club, a learning environment, something like that. But it's almost root cause of why you're doing it. Are you doing it to start a business to facilitate people, or actually are you doing it to extend something?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, if we think about why, can any business have a membership program? Who is it for really? What type of businesses can start their own membership programs? Okay.
It's a great question. So first of all, can every business have a membership program? Yes. Should every business have a membership program? Not necessarily. So as a business model, everybody could adapt it if they want to. However, should you have one? It really depends on the kind of customers that you've got, the kind of services that you are providing, and even what type of membership. So a baseline membership, and it's one I'm a member of. So I'm looking at your beautiful flowers. I am not the best gardener in the world. I have many fine qualities. That is not one of them.
Yeah.
I love orchids, but I kill them. So I'm actually a member of an orchid club. And all that means is every month I get a newsletter through of basically how try not to kill my orchids.
Yeah.
Okay. It's only £5 a month.
Yeah.
And it's only a newsletter that they send through. However, why do they do it? Because one, they're not just being altruistic that they want me to help, save all the orchids in my house. Yeah. They're doing it because actually when I get a problem or when I want to buy something, I go back to their site to purchase. Mm. So memberships can come in many different forms.
Yeah. Well, they can actually improve your company's performance as well. Can you talk us through some of the key benefits of having a membership program?
One of the key benefits why many experts want to have some kind of membership program is for recurring revenue. Yeah. Because it gives you a stability. It allows you to cash flow forecast. Whereas normally if you're in a launch mode for a course, you won't have that, because unless you've done multiple launches and you know your conversion rates, then actually it's a little bit like sticking your finger in the air and hoping what your results are going to get. So for many businesses, having that as a small business, it can be a huge game changer, because it goes from that feast and famine every month to having this consistent revenue. So that's one of the biggest reasons as a business owner why to do it.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. There's also a number of other things. Is if you are actually looking to grow or scale a business, say that you're looking to hire someone, when you've got consistent cash flow, that decision becomes a lot easier because you can predict for the next 6 months or 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anybody who right now has got a membership or considering one, bear in mind the time that we've just been through with COVID-19, then if you had a recurring, I would have guessed if you put them all in the room, they would have been calmer.
Yeah.
Because they're not having to sell. That sale's already been done. It's just a recurring. Mm-hmm. So that's what the biggest benefit to people.
Yeah. What about loyalty and customer loyalty? Is it a means to also help you build that loyalty with your customers by offering them a membership?
Potentially, but again, it depends. I would say it depends on the framework of your membership. So it depends why you are doing your membership. And I know it sounds, because I don't believe anything's cookie cutter, and especially with memberships. So yes, can a membership, a club, a resource help to grow brand loyalty? Absolutely, because what you're actually doing is cultivating your brand, but you're cultivating a community. Yeah. So it really works if your membership has a community aspect to it.
Yeah,
it really does. However, there is something in memberships that we call attrition, which is how long someone is in your membership.
Yeah.
So if we took gyms again, say people sign up in January, they have a huge spike in January. Let's not take 2020 right now with everything we've just been going through, but take January, it spikes. And then you start getting a drop off on March, April. Because people are going, oh, okay, having a membership doesn't actually make me fitter unless I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. So their attrition might be even 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
So it wouldn't necessarily have helped to establish brand loyalty unless they put another layer on top of that to help people.
Yeah.
If you'd got like a free personal training session, if you'd done so many sessions in the gym, then that could have.
Yeah.
But again, it depends on the framework of how you're doing your membership.
Yeah, so then in that respect, then is it useful to then create multi-leveled type of membership? So you can have your basic membership for those who might, join, but might only come once a week, and then create maybe a more premium type of membership where you start offering a bit more, like your personal locker, your personal trainer, your own towel, the newsletter, and so on. So is creating these multi-level layers, is it purely a sales tactic? Or is it to help maybe retain clients or to help them go up to more premium?
Yes and yes. So it depends why, and this is the coach in me, comes down to for what purpose are we doing anything?
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, whenever you're doing something in marketing and branding, and I'm sure you all agree with me here, Olivia, that customers are very savvy right now, and they can sniff out when something's being done purely for a sales tactic. We can sniff it out. It doesn't feel genuine. So you've got to know why you're doing it again for your clients. So having a multi-level membership program can work. There's pluses and minuses to it. So one, it's a little bit like if you ever gone on a plane. It's the Goldilocks syndrome. We like the middle bed. So if you have 3 levels of membership, The middle one is the one that most people are going to go for. If anyone signed up here for any kind of ongoing software, Adobe, any project management, they put a nice big box around the middle one as well and said most popular, just to really harness the one that you want to go for.
Yeah.
So it can work. However, if you have an audience who's not used to buying membership in your field, 3 options can seem overwhelming. So people can call what we call a rest. They can fall off because actually they look at it and go, don't know which one I need.
Yeah.
So they end up making no purchase because they don't know. What could you do, Olivia? What you could do is have a baseline purchase. So purchase, they think there's one level. When they've purchased, you then have a second page or something that comes up and says, do you want to upgrade to option 2 or option 3? Then actually, if your audience is not used to this kind of model, that can then still help. Yes, you will make more money, more sales. They've got options, but they haven't got too many options on a page. It's like a menu sometimes, isn't it? If you go to a restaurant, there's a huge menu, you go,
too much. Yeah.
Don't know what I want. Give me 3 options on each one and I'm good.
Yeah. No, I get that. And so maybe the key is to just bring them in, and then after that, you kind of lead them to a higher.
Yeah. And I would say to you, if you're considering doing a membership, find out more about your audience. Are they used to this format? Especially if you're doing any kind of business kind of memberships or it's a personal membership. If they're used to it, then they normally have a quicker rate through your sales process. So the time on page will be quicker. They know what they're doing. If your audience isn't used to it, again, that whole process and seeing 3 options, they can arrest, they can stop. And you don't want to lose a customer who got to your sales page because they were unsure what to do.
Yeah. So what about branding? We have to just bring it back down to
branding, of course. Yeah.
So how can a membership program help your business brand?
One of the key benefits of doing a membership, and I'm going to say a great membership, not a good one, a great one, is that it can really help with creating brand ambassadors and brand fans. Now, your brand ambassadors, your brand fans, they're the people who will go out and talk about you when you're not in the room. That's the essence, isn't it, of an amazing brand, when people are talking about you when you're not there. So it can do a huge amount. But this is why I said you've got to have a great membership, because you aren't going to create super fans if they don't love what you're doing. So you've got to do, it can absolutely do that. And the longevity of a brand, it really can help. And again, this comes back to how you're going to frame your membership. If you've got a community aspect, the know, like, and trust with the person who's leading that membership deepens. If people ask you any question, they can really get to know you, Olivia, and then go, okay, if they then want to upsell to a different package, they already know, like, and trust you. It's just an easier sell. And obviously there's multiple ways to market your membership program. I've heard about the closed inscription membership and the open inscription membership. So what's the difference between the two? And again, some of the benefits. So I know when we were talking about this, and it's really interesting. So that it comes down again to resources. So there's 2 real methodologies of doing them. And you will notice now, once I've said this to you, anybody here will notice when they see these models. An open membership is exactly what it infers. Someone can join your membership at any point in time. So a gym is an open membership. You whenever during the year you want to, once they reopen, you can go and join them. Plus points for open membership is people can join whenever they find out about your brand. Negatives about that membership is you are constantly selling. Because you have to, because actually you're constantly selling because you want new members at every point in time. Another negative it can be about an open model is that actually people, because if they say, do you know what, this month I'm going to stop, it's all right, I'll start again next month. There's no benefit of them staying rather than just cancelling and restarting. A closed model is when you only have open doors for certain times. So you may well have an open door model for, say, 2 or 3 times during the year. As a business owner, some of the huge benefits that I know our clients have seen is that you are not constantly selling. You've got 3 big, like, kind of epicenters when you are selling open doors during that year. You can plan it in. Now, anybody who's got kids, anyone who's trying to do all this stuff, if we go back to summer holidays and things, there'll be certain times of the year that you absolutely do not want to be launching because you know that that's just not a good time for you and it's not a good time for your audience. So that's a big plus point. You also then ramp up to a doors open, but it does mean as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you've got kind of time to recharge because otherwise you're constantly in fulfillment and sales mode with the door open mode. Another point that can happen is If with a closed door model, you leave, you can't just sign up again the next month. You have to wait till doors are open again.
Yeah.
You also, with a closed door model, if you are upping your prices in a closed door model, then if someone leaves and rejoins, they have to rejoin at a higher price.
Okay.
So again, there's more incentive in a closed door model to stay. There are some kind of caveats depending on your audience. So let's just say that you were doing, say something about fertility or pregnancy. Can't really pause it and wait till your next door's open because their clock is running. So if they wanted to join that, you may well have to run it as an open door model because actually it just will not work if you do it as closed door. So again, you've got to understand your audience, how they want to buy, what's going on for them, and how you're going to do it.
I guess that, like you said, it also depends on your content. Having maybe a closed membership can allow you to then concentrate. If you don't need 10,000 members, you just want a smaller number because you might be giving more one-to-one services to them. So maybe having that closed membership model can also help you control the numbers that you come into your group.
It could do. I think the other benefit that what you were saying about content creation is if you've got an open door membership, that if you are doing something in the business world and you are there's a knowledge base in the membership, you are constantly selling and you're constantly content creation. In a closed door, if you're not selling, then what you'd have is you'd have block of content creation.
Yeah.
So actually then there's times when you are only selling, you're not content creating, and then you are only content creating, not selling.
Yeah.
And again, for some people that can be much easier to manage because you're not constantly worrying about how do I do everything at once.
Yeah. And how do you keep your members? How do you have you got any secrets of how do you keep, I mean, once they're in is great, but you've got to make sure that they stay in. Yeah. I mean, again, depending on your model, because sometimes a membership can be like a 6-month course or something. So there's a beginning and there's an end.
Yeah.
But if it's just an open membership where content keeps coming in, how do you make sure? Do you have any secrets of how do you retain our clients?
Yeah. So I would say a course is never a membership. If a course is not, a course is a course. If anything has a fixed end date, it is a course, not a membership.
Right. Okay.
A membership, we would say, is anything that's ongoing.
Okay.
So if you what we call drip feed content. So if you have a membership and you release content, say every month, this is, and I'm loving the question because what happens is people go, I want a membership. Can we make that happen? They don't normally think about the actual customer acquisition part. That kind of comes in, and then actually the customer retention. Because that isn't the fun bit. That is what we call an attrition, when you start learning actually that people are in your membership for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So the first part about this, the secret I'm going to tell you about that is you've got to know your data. And that's, again, when I would say some creative entrepreneurs go, oh, this isn't fun. We're in the geeky land. I don't want to do this part. The reason why you have to know your data when it comes to actually keeping people in your club longer is because if you can identify a pattern, just say that they stay in 9 months.
Yeah.
That's normally the pattern. And you can see that their logins decrease on your membership if you're running an on-platform membership. Okay. Now, just imagine we can identify that. And we don't wait till the cancellation comes in, but actually we adopt a process at month 7 that reintegrates them back into the club before they even start considering it. Because people don't normally go, I'm going to cancel them out. They will probably consider it for a little while.
Yeah.
So that's why key thing is know your data, understand your client patterns, and adopt processes before they would pattern fall out their time frame to actually combat that.
Okay.
But you've got to know your data. And you're not going to do it on your first launch either. No.
And so how do you create this data? I mean, shall we start talking about technology a little bit?
Oh, let's get into the, see, now I'm going to pull my sleeves up now. We're into the tech, we're into the geek.
Yeah.
So it depends how you are running a membership. So let's talk about some very basic, not too geeking out stuff right now.
Yeah.
There's 2 types of membership. There's what we call an off-platform and an on-platform. An off-platform is Zoom. We're on Zoom today.
Yeah.
And you could run an off-platform membership. You could use a Facebook group and you could do a Zoom. And there is so basically your audience don't log into anything. All the content they're going to get is from here. That's what we'd call an off-platform launch.
Okay.
With an off-platform launch, negatives is hard to collect any data because you're going to have to manually go through and see out of your membership who came onto like a Q&A call, who's in your group, who's showing up and what they're doing. You've got to do a huge amount of manual data. If you do an on-platform launch, and we work in 2 platforms. We work in WordPress with plugins, or we work in a platform called Kajabi. Those are the 2 that we work in as business. With something like Kajabi or WordPress and different plugins, you can see logins. So just say that actually you were running a report to actually say that at month 5, someone stopped logging in and hasn't logged in for 6 weeks. That's when you could trigger an automated response to reinvigorate them. There could be that email, even a simple, how are you getting on in the club? But that's how you start to collect data to understand there is a trend between logins, people showing up, people consuming content, and actually when they're going to cancel. But if you do an on-platform launch, it's normally all there for you. You're just going to analyze the data.
Sure. It's fascinating. And it could be, I guess, a little bit mind-blowing for, a small business owner who might not have that kind of technology mindset, or the resources, or even to know which kind of software to use. So I guess this is where you guys come into the rescue, because you and your husband, and you have a team obviously working with you of developers and stuff. So you tell us a little bit about the process. So I want to create, and I have the content and everything's ready to launch my membership program. So how would you guys help me do that?
Okay, so we have this phrase of you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this kind of work, people might often know that I want a new website. So you go out and get quoted for a new website. You'll say, you'll see it on forums, you put it on Facebook, I want a new website. When you come to this, you don't even know the question to ask.
Yeah.
You don't know how to say, how do I get quoted for this? Because you just do not understand what you're asking. So the way that we start, and this is the kind of marketing person, strategist, and coach in me, because we are completely self-made. Everything that we have done, we are self-made. And where I see mistakes doing, so if you're doing this right now, stop, is you haven't got proof of concept, we haven't made any revenue, and we're jumping straight into a full platform launch which is a significant investment, and we do not have proof of concept. Now, proof of concept just means as soon as someone hands over any money to pay for what you're talking about. So what I would say to people is when they come to us, we sanity check everything.
Yeah.
Again, it's about return on investment. So it depends on the price point of your membership, depends how many members that you want in there. That actually a full platform launch may never be right for you, because we're all about, if you want to make profit, don't make turnover. So if you're going to, and sometimes people will come to us and we'll go through all the numbers and say, do you realize to actually make the profit levels that you want, you need 3,000 members? And they go, okay, I can do that. Okay, do we have an email list? No. Okay, so where are we getting 3,000 members from?
Yeah.
So when you come to us, basically we sanity check the strategy, and then we will go through everything. So basically then we have a discovery session, and we create this document. So you would work with us from the first part. Now the first part documented everything scoped out. People who love DIY, you could go away and you can create the whole thing yourself. People who go, not clue.
Too much.
We can build the whole thing for you. We can do the whole funnel. And this is the other thing that we do. So when you're thinking about a membership, even if you're doing an off-platform, which I said in Facebook group and a Zoom, how are you contacting them? So we need some kind of either email provider, or we need a CRM system. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying to you. These are the kind of gold nuggets people always forget about. Is how are you going to talk to them? You've got to data collect somewhere, and it's got to be GDPR compliant. How are you going to handle a cancellation? If it's off-platform launch, PayPal is a great one to do, because actually you can do it, they can do it themselves. Okay, so you've got to think about that then, because now we've got a list of people, and either you're going to manually move them out of one list into another, that's laborious, again, not probably the point of why you started this, or how are you going to have a system that takes them out of an active member into an old member? Now, don't forget, even if they've left, they are still a warm audience. They may well come back. Yeah. And those are the parts, again, that we check through, and we do all the automation, everything to do with payment terms, because again, you go, okay, I can do this part. How do I take payment? How does it link to my accountancy system if you're using Xero or QuickBooks? How do you do the automation, the CRM, let alone this? So it tends to be a little bit of a beast that most people get this look and go, I don't know what to do. I want a membership, I want recurring, I'm in with that, but I don't know how to build it. Yeah. It can be very daunting. There's a lot of different elements, and I wanted to talk to you about, how important it is to the automation to launch a business structure like this, and how important it is to just link all the bits. And this is what you guys do. I did wanted to talk to you about that a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. So how important is it? Depends what kind of membership you're running. I said about the Orchid Club, it will be sophisticated, but ultimately they send out one email. There is no live parts to it. They send out one email that's got the data on it. It's not even a PDF. It's not even an attachment. It's in the email. Okay, it's so super simple. They've got payment, they've got an email list, and they create and send this. That's super simple. And this is why I'm saying to people, if you're considering this, do proof of concept. Proof of concept, and if anyone's querying this is the marketing director in me, is not people going hands up in the air, I'm interested, until people pay you £1. Until people have got skin in the game, which is money, they are not a confirmed potential customer. Because you will find people go, oh, I've got loads of people interesting. People launch and go, crickets going, where'd everyone go? Everyone said they wanted this. Where's everyone gone?
Yeah.
So if you are launching a small membership, and it might be on Zoom and on Facebook, say a manageable number, even up to 50, you don't necessarily need all of the automation. So you could get away with doing a lot of it manually once you're doing proof of concept.
Yeah.
However, most people want, as I said, to do a membership because they want to free up resources as well and have more time, have more money.
Yeah.
Then you do need automation. So, and there's real two forms of it. How do they join the membership and how do they get onboarded and how do they leave the membership and get offboarded? There isn't you doing a huge amount of different tasks. Again, not taking a payment when they've already left your club. And these are the type of things that people can become unstuck on. Yeah,
because it's quite complex, very complex for all the different scenarios that could happen with your members. Do you also help your clients build the actual website where the content is going to take place?
Yeah. So this is when, again, so we can do, we work in different ways. So we can do the whole. So we've just got a client, she's just launching right now in amongst the pandemic, doing very well, by the way, but actually the whole thing is being done. So she's written the content, she's recorded the content on video.
Okay.
Then even our team, so she's given us the, I was going to say in American terms, verbiage. She's given us the copy. It goes to our designer. So we design it and it goes up to the system and then it's drip fed through. So all she's got to do is stay in her zone, which is her audience love her.
Yeah.
She's got to tell us the tonality of what we're writing. She records it. It's all her words, but actually we almost do that magic thing behind background and it happens.
It happens.
And it's drip fed through.
Sounds like a dream.
Well, this is what I'm saying. People want to be in their zone and they go, I don't want to know how to automate this and file sizes and how to make it appear and not appear. And people have different access levels. Because when you ask the question, if you have like tiered membership, now tech-wise, we've got much more complicated.
Yeah, of course.
Because we've got, people aren't signing in and seeing the same thing. They've got to have different options.
Yes.
So again, sometimes it's easier to start really simple and get more complex. But that can be the look on, feel on your website. So do you always need to move to a different platform? So Kajabi, one of the ones we use, is a different platform. It'd be a different website, completely different website. But we do use WordPress. So even if you had a WordPress website already, then actually we can build onto your existing WordPress website. So you don't necessarily have to change everything. Again, there's different cost implications. There's different pros and cons of both of them. But we talk through that with our clients to recommend what's best for them in their model that they're creating.
Yeah. And what would be the time frame? I know it's every project is different, but you know, how quickly? So again, we'll come back to my example. I'm ready to. I've got my content. I'm ready, but we need to analyze it, and I want to go through you guys to just make sure it's soundproof and all the system and all the automation. What roughly time frame will that take before it's all live and ready to go? Are we talking 6 months? Are we talking 1 month?
No, again, it would depend.
Yes, of course.
So one of the things that you would do as well is, I'm not a fan of recommending for you to record the entire membership for 6 months if we haven't got members in the door.
Yeah.
So you could have the content written, you could have the first video recorded, but actually, again, even your content, even if you've got it all wireframed out, until you know your audience, you might change your language slightly, what they want from you. So what we would say, I mean, the one that literally is just launching has been in an expedited time frame because of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Now, we wouldn't normally do this, but that's been an 8-week process.
Okay.
Okay. That has been completely, we don't do BS in our agency, that is working night and day from the client to provide content.
Yeah.
Because it has to come from the client. They have a wireframe, everything's done, everything's launching, it's logged in, the system has to be checked. That's the other part as well. If you were coming to us fresh and you said to us, I want to launch this. Now, why she was slightly different, she already had an audience, she had a list.
Okay.
Part of the sanity check is, if you, Olivia, said to me, right, I want to launch my membership in 6 weeks. First question I'm going to ask you is, who are we launching to?
Yeah.
Because actually, even if the build's done, that launch runway needs to include you building your email list.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we can do sometimes is, if you think about it like this, so we've got you coming into us and we've got the full build. In between, we will have opt-ins. So we also work on you to build your funnel, to build your email list before you even launch the course or launch the membership. Because actually, if otherwise you're launching to crickets.
Yeah.
So again, it's looking at the automation naturally. Ideally, what we'd love, you post on social media, someone signs into your opt-in, which we would create. We'd sort out all the automation. They get the PDF from you. Then they're in a sequence. So they've now got an email sequence getting them ready for your membership opening. So again, that's the great Royal service, that all of that should be automated so that you can focus on showing up online. Yeah. You can show up to your audience. You can be there rather than constantly be kind of writing and creating stuff.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And I think we could talk forever on this one. But I hope it's given the audience a good, outlook on what you guys can provide for them, but also how they can maybe boost their business by creating membership for their business and why they should do it. Well, thanks, Laura. It seems like this has gone really quickly. But,
Yes.
it has, but I've asked all my questions. I think, is there anything else that you want to add? Is there anything that you guys are doing at the moment that you might want to talk about? Any promotions or any deals?
What I will say to people as a piece of advice is keep it simple. When you are launching this membership, keep it really simple. Get proof of concept before you invest heavily in it. So one thing I would say, no, you don't need to do any of that if the return on investment is not there in what you want to do. So that's my piece of advice. Do not jump in. You do not need because if you're talking about a full sequence launch, you could be talking 5,000 to 10,000. Now, actually, if you've got a £30 a month membership, we can do the maths. You're going to have to sell quite a lot before you're even in profit. Yeah. So don't jump in. That's what I'm going to say to people.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about recurrent stream of revenue a little bit. And do you help your clients structure their price range or with the price that they should put on the membership? Do you help that? Or do they already need to have that idea and come to you?
Most people come to us with an idea. And again, this is when we sanity check it, because actually when I say that, what I mean is sometimes you just need to work through it with a consultant to actually say, why have we got to that price? Because often that price has just come out from sticking the finger in the air of that's a price that felt okay for them.
Yeah.
But actually, if you are doing a membership again and you've got any other sales or services or promotions that you do, it's got to fit into the Ascension model. Yeah. It's no good having a really high price membership and then you've got an offering that just sits below it that makes it doesn't feel and flow for your audience. So again, even if you haven't got a price and they say, what we've done recently is fitness instructors, yoga instructors have gone, I need to get online. Yeah. And that literally has been all the conversation. I need to go online.
Yeah. There has been this panic. My aunt is a Pilates teacher and she's really struggled because she felt pressured to quickly go online. And in the end, she gave up because she didn't have the resources and anything. So I think there was a lot of pressure this last few months.
There has been a lot of pressure. And again, where we may be a little bit different is we will say to some people, don't go online.
Yeah.
You're not ready to yet. Don't jump in yet. Let's do a very low price system integration that you can do. You can get started with your audience. And then once you build them, if you want to go full platform, great. Yeah. But actually don't let that stop you. But that's where people often come to us is like coaches. Laura, I've seen this online course stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I want to do. Help. So we can even scope out what the course could look like.
Okay.
Because actually sometimes people go, I feel like I want to do something, but I don't know what. I don't know what price point. I don't know to who. And again, if you don't know what you don't know, then you don't really understand like a drip feed. Yeah. You might be hearing drip feed and go, what? That's basically when content comes out like once a week or once a month. Yeah. Other times you will go into and you'll log in and everything will be there. Yeah. So even working out the psychology for your audience of how that works, we will do everything. We can do everything because again, we're such a believer. And I use this analogy all the time with experts. Part of it is like opening up an amazing restaurant up a Welsh hill somewhere, and I love the Welsh countryside, and you're a Michelin star restaurant. If no one knows you're there, no one can come. Once they're there, they're like, oh, I'll keep coming back. But if no one knows you're there, now launching a membership without a runway, without knowing what you're doing is literally like opening up that restaurant in the middle of nowhere and hoping someone arrives. Yeah. So you've got to know why you're doing it and how you're actually getting your numbers to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. I mean, even creating a business plan, I should think, and even a marketing plan of how you're going to market it is as important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And some, again, but you can come to us wherever you are, which is all the offer I'm going to say to you is, if you're going, I'm kind of interested, Laura, you scared the what's it out of me of how I'm going to do this right now. I can imagine some of you going, come and have a conversation to us. So basically we offer, we're not going to scope out the project for you, but come and have that conversation with us.
Yeah.
We can do them online. So we don't have to meet in person, but the office hopefully will be open again soon.
Yeah.
We will talk you through actually what you should do next. It might be that we'll say to you, you're not right to work with us, go and do this on your own, or this is what we'd recommend. Or we can get you in to do the full scoping meeting. It just completely depends. But come and have a conversation with us.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great. Thank you. Thanks, Laura. That was really interesting. Like I said, I think I could talk to you for hours. You're a fascinating woman. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And for all of you out there, I hope that was extremely helpful in, even if you were thinking about doing a membership, maybe that's given you a few answers. So thank you very much. Make sure you join us next Monday as I welcome my first international guest, all the way from Canada, the lovely Cara Wood. She is the founder and director of Succinct Social Media. And she's going to be talking to us about how to protect our brand on social media today. So make sure you join in next Monday at 4 p.m. And make sure you keep subscribing to our YouTube channel, become a fan, and come and join us in our group. If you feel that you really do need help with your brand, then we are there to help you. Thanks, Laura. Have a fantastic day. And thanks for taking the time to come and have a chat with me. It's lovely.
Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. And remember, be visible. Bye.